the first point I wish to make is that it is now clear that the central government has been prevaricating, distorting, being clearly less than fair with the public of India about rail travel and Shramiks and Pravasi Shramiks and migrants repeatedly. You remember the number of times the Union Railway Minister has said that 85% of the cost has been subsidized by the railways. The states are supposedly bearing only 15% is what they say. This sentence has been repeated in different forms by Mr. Santosh, by Mr. Sambit Patra, by Mr. Love Agarwal, by the Railway Minister, of course, by the Finance Minister, and by the HRD Minister and the INB Minister. My respectful question, and of course, most important, above all, I'm sorry, how could I possibly forget? Mr. Amit Shah has said, I'm quoting now, let me say categorically that 85% of the train fare has been paid by railways and the rest 15% has been paid by the states. Well, friends, I want to ask this question. We were all there. You have reported it. The learned Solicitor General repeatedly said in the Supreme Court that all of the cost of the railways travel for the migrants is to be borne by the sending state or by the receiving state. In fact, he said that there are not even cases where sending state bears partly or receiving state bears partly, but in any case, it is either of those two states. There is no mention of the central government. Now, it is clear that unless and until these learned ministers clarify, unless the government of India clarifies, we must take the statement made on solemn, in the solemnity of court proceedings, we must take that to be true. In which case, all this while, whatever the railway minister has been telling you, whatever the other ministers have been telling you is not true, including the home minister. So friends, this is a very serious point on which we need to pin down the government. And I am saying that with the kind of clear contradictions, prevarications, how is it possible that the railway minister will not resign or be removed? One of the two must happen. The second point relates to the fact that not only has the Modi government not spent a penny, but instead I am told in most cases a superfast charge of 30 rupees and a 20 rupees charge for food and water was in fact levied. Superfast and food and water. Now, far from giving things free, which is the impression given to everybody, these are charges by the railways. Again, in the court, and this is borne out by the court itself, because the court gave a direction that you must provide food and water. But the impression given by the government is that everything is being given free. These are additional, call them surcharges, call them superfast charges, call them food charges. These are additional things happening. And the railway official, I quote, he said, free food and bottled water is being given to migrants by the railways. We have run 34 such trains so far and we will continue to do so. Nowhere in our SOP we have said that the fares be collected for traveling migrants. Quote unquote. This is the railways official saying. Then the Supreme Court says, please provide free of cost. And here we are telling you all kinds of charges are being made. So who is lying? Why is this lying? Why is this distortion? Why is this prevarication? Third, we had the very strange explanation by no less than the Home Minister, who said that few migrant laborers had lost patience and had started walking back, even though the center had provided adequate facilities for them to return home. He told this to a news channel in an interview. I quote unquote, the note by AICC will give you the quote unquote. I'm asking you, when were the railways started? End of April. There was no movement. And You suddenly started it after a 4-hour notice of lockdown. And for many days after starting it till today, people don't know which railway is going where, whether their name is on the list, whether they will get space. So is this a fair statement that, I quote the Home Minister, even then we started buses and transported them to railway stations from where they were taken safely to their villages. But he says that they lost patience and started walking. Friends, in addition to this, I want to say that it's a very strange case with deaths and delays. It is admitted that at least 81 deaths have happened, and there are allegations that more deaths have happened, but they are not being recorded as COVID deaths. For example, a PIB fact-check declared that the family of the woman found dead on the platform was because of COVID, and that the family had claimed a long-term illness was untrue. This is the Muzaffarpur platform. This is a fact check on PIB. Now, like this, 81 is the figure, although we suspect that the figure is much higher. But what is worrying is that an analysis which has been published by the newspapers also shows that of the 3,740 trains, roughly about 40% ran late, and the average delay was 8 hours. For 421 trains, which is about over 12%, the delay was more than 10 hours. For another 373, again 10%, the delay was up to 24 hours. There were 78 trains which were delayed by more than 1 day. And of course, 43 trains which were delayed by more than 35 hours. Almost 2 days by the time it finished. So friends, this is the true state of what is happening with the migrants and the railways.